Right, so I think we should be live.
Fantastic.
Let's just double check. Sorry, we're a little bit late, ladies. Yes, we are live in Facebook. Fantastic. Sorry, we're a little bit late. This live streaming thing in to two places at once, Facebook and YouTube, is proving a little bit complicated, but we are here. If you are joining us, please pop on and say hi. We would love to see you here. If you have any questions, I have my trusty little phone by my side here, so I can see any questions that are coming in. So please comment, please say hi, let us know you're here and watching. Please ask your questions and I will put those to Tracy as we go through this evening. So I am so excited to have my own personal fitness coach here this evening. This lady literally transformed my body.
Fitness with a difference, right?
Definitely. In fact, if we get a chance, I'll try and find the photograph while you're talking and we can put up my before and afters, because it is really quite amazing. But let me tell you about Tracy. She is a pain relief and body shaping exercise specialist for peri and postmenopausal women who are done with their stiff, achy, changing bodies and are ready to learn a different way to get in shape, be ache-free and age audaciously without the sweat, strain or time suck of typical exercise. Tracy has worked for over 20 years in the publishing industry and struggled with her own nagging aches and figure change in her mid-40s, even though she was a part-time yoga teacher. But at 54, Tracy is stronger, slimmer, pain-free and happier than she was 10 years ago. Tracy's passionate about showing other women over 40 that looking great, feeling great and aging audaciously, I love that word, is easy, achievable and long-lasting when you know the missing piece in the midlife movement puzzle. And as I already said, I absolutely stand by Tracy's program because it has made huge changes in my world, particularly as somebody who has suffered with fibromyalgia for at least 20 years. So I used to have to sit down at work at the till. I couldn't stand, stand for extended periods of time. And doing the reshape program and doing it consistently, and I still do it. I can stand for ages now. And I don't get backache. I don't, it really is. I am an advert for your program. There's no two ways about it.
You absolutely are. And I remember, when you came into my group and was speaking about your experience, you said your biggest hesitation from joining the program was you're like, well, what else can I learn that's different? I've done just about everything, right?
Yeah. Yoga. I've done yoga, running, all the Pilates. What else have I? Oh, just all sorts of Zumba. I even went to the excessive extremes of Zumba to try and get myself into shape and stuff. But no, it was definitely the reshape program that, I can sit cross-legged for a consistent period of time, whereas I would always be moving and fidgeting.
And you were also talking about walking, right? How your walking changed and the aches and pains you were feeling when you were walking.
Absolutely. I used to, through lockdown, I made it a mission to go walking every day. And I'd do a 5-mile walk. And there were days when I could make it. And there were days when I would have to cut it short because I was in such discomfort. I could do that walk twice over. And I know that I won't be in pain now.
That is just, I love it. Like, this is why I get up in the morning.
Good. Well, we're glad you do.
Because I'm going to be telling, what we do in the reshape method is not typical. It's not normal. It is, it's not like normal, typical movement and exercise, because we're going one step underneath all of that, right? There's something that peri and postmenopausal women need to be doing before they do the exercise, right? Before you do the PT and the physio and all of that, if you want to be aging audaciously, which What I mean by that is ache-free, pain-free, in shape, strong, supple, all these things that we think aren't available to us as we get older. We given this message, you know, that it's downhill from here, that these aches and pains are normal. They're not, right? And I know it can get heartening and disheartening and frustrating because everybody's trying their best. They're doing all these things that aren't making a difference. And so we get to the point where we're like, well, maybe it is all downhill from here. Maybe this is as good as it gets. And I'm here to tell you that no, that's not true. And that is because, and let me share my screen, that is because there is a missing piece. There is a missing piece in your pain relief puzzle. And I am so excited to share that with you today. Thank you so much for having me on to speak to your incredible community. So, you know, and I love what you're doing in your group in terms of your natural lifestyle, holistic, you know, mindset and root cause focus of what you do. So Jackie and our approaches really do blend very, very well. And I think we cross over so well because we're both going deeper and refusing to, you know, accept the narrative that it is all downhill from here, as I said, okay? So similarly, when it comes to exercise and movement, my approach is deeper too. My approach is not about exercise per se. There's something else going on in our bodies that is ignored and overlooked, even by the exercise and health industry. And it could be part of the reason why you are still struggling with aches and pains in your body, maybe struggling to get the shape and tone that you would like, struggling to get your energy back as well. And what I'm going to be speaking to you about today could be the reason why you are still maybe struggling with bladder leaking, which becomes so often, and turning to fad exercises and all those kinds of things. Okay, now my take on exercise, it is not the same old. You know, it's not the eat less, exercise more, walk 10,000 steps a day, do some strength training. You're going to be learning something new, and I'm so excited to be sharing this game-changing information with you today because I am going to be sharing with you the best kept secret when it comes to getting the most out of your exercise and daily functional movement. All right. Now, we all know that we need to exercise. We all know that exercise is good for us. We all know the benefits of exercise, and there are many: weight loss, improved physical and mental health, better shape, better mood. Except by the time we reach like 40 plus, you may notice that you are probably not getting the results and benefits from exercise that you used to when you were younger. Okay, give me a 1 in the comments if you're watching live or on the replay, if any of these points resonate with you. All right, you may be doing yoga, Pilates, swimming, treadmill, strength training, walking, and just not seeing much difference for the amount of time and energy you're putting in. That was certainly me. You may hate sweaty exercise, I know I do, and find that it actually makes your aches and pains worse. Also something that I struggled with. You may have gotten an injury from trying out that strength training routine, or exacerbated your bladder leaking or hip pain when you went to the yoga class. Again, hello, me, and I was the yoga teacher, okay? You may think that you should be doing more exercise, that you aren't getting the results you want because you're just not doing enough. You think you need to do more, but goodness, there's no more time in the day, or you're lacking motivation. You know, so common in many of us. So let me know in the chat, do any of these points resonate with you? Or maybe you've given up exercising altogether because you are confused and overwhelmed with all the contradictory information out there, and you just don't know where to start. Or maybe you've just given in the towel because nothing works long-term anyway. So I am here to tell you, and you're going to be pleased to hear that I'm not here to tell you that you need to exercise more. All right. I am not going to tell you that this Pilates class is better than that yoga class, or that, you know, you should be reaching a specific heart rate for so many minutes, or that walking X number of steps or swimming so many laps is what you should be aiming for. All right. No, I am here to tell you that for women over 40, we need a different approach, because what worked when we were younger and what works for men does not work for women in peri and post-menopause, which is where you are at if you're over 40, like it or not, okay? Perimenopause actually starts at age 35. So if you're not post-menopause, okay, and you'll know if you are, because you're not having periods any longer. If you're not post-menopause and you're over 40, then you are either in early or late perimenopause. And perimenopause lasts about 4 to 12 years, with the average age of menopause, which is 1 day, 365 consecutive days without a period, the average age of that menopausal day being 51. So if you're over 40 and get the sense that things are changing in your body, it's because they are changing. The hormonal changes are real, which means you need a different approach to exercise and movement. One that is looking closer at what is really happening in your body, because the truth of our bodies is revealed when we start to lose the protective effects of estrogen with the onset of perimenopause. All right, so stick with me, because I'm here to tell you that there is a critical missing foundational step that we all need to do before we go to the gym or yoga class or Pilates or weight train or even walk. All right, and I actually have a walking challenge coming up next week. So are you going to be able to join us for the walking challenge again, Jacqueline?
I certainly will try.
Amazing.
I love doing the walking challenge, because I always pick up something new.
Yeah.
It also reminds me of what I should be doing when I'm walking.
Absolutely. Good. Well, maybe we can drop the sign up link. It's going to be ready later this afternoon. Maybe we can drop the sign up link so that your members can join us.
Without a doubt.
Because we can't even walk properly. And if you can't walk properly, and I'm going to explain what that means in great detail in the walking workshop and challenge. If we can't walk properly, we can't do anything else properly, okay? And the missing step is especially important if you've spent any amount of time at school or at university or working a desk job or any other job that involves sitting. Because if we do not take the time and give ourselves, what I like to say, the grace and space to address this missing piece, then all your exercise is essentially wasting your time, okay? Now, don't get me wrong, any movement is of course better than no movement, but it's easy to get disheartened with your personal trainer or yoga teacher when you've been going to sessions or classes for ages, okay, and seeing no changes at all. In fact, I've got one lady who just joined the Reshape Method. She's like, I've been going to Pilates for 20 years and I have learned more in an hour with you in this private session than I learned in those 20 years. And she was really upset that all that exercise was not actually giving her the results she wanted because of what I'm going to explain to you tonight. Okay, I don't know about you, but I'm super busy. And when I do make time to exercise, I want to make sure I'm getting as much bang for my exercise buck as I can. Plus, when you're able to do what I'm going to show you tonight, you will get so much more benefit from the exercise you love. Also, I don't want to be doing anything that's going to injure me or make my aches and pains worse. But this was often the case for me until I came across a thing that was really stopping me from getting the silhouette I love and aging audaciously, okay? And that thing is alignment. It's your skeleton. It's your bones, okay? Can I just want to make sure that I'm actually on the right mic. Yes, otherwise I'll end up sounding very, very sibilant and annoying. I just want to check that I was on the right track. It's your skeleton, it's your alignment, your skeleton, your bones, okay? I got to say, before I started learning about my biomechanics, I really didn't give my skeleton much thought, okay? And let me know in the chat, how much thought have you actually given your skeleton? Like, how much deep thought? For me, it was like a 0, okay? But alignment is key because your skeleton is the most foundational structure of your body. It's the starting point of all the change that you are wanting. You see, despite all the exercise, walking, swimming you've done or haven't done, by the time you hit perimenopause, your skeleton is out of alignment. Okay, and if you're not sure what I mean, stay with me. I'm going to explain what alignment is and what causes us to get out of alignment. And then towards the end, we can workshop together so that you can get a better sense and see for yourself if and where you are out of alignment, okay? And before I go any further, let me properly introduce myself and tell you a bit about how I got into alignment and became a movement coach, because my story may resonate with you. So I'm Tracy Sider. I am creator of the 12-week Reshape Method online program and host of the Audacious Aging Club for peri and post-menopause, where we do the work to get ache-free and in shape. So feel free to pop in and join us there. I am a certified corrective exercise specialist, personal trainer, menopause fitness specialist, yoga teacher, and nutrition coach with over 10 years experience in the wellness field. And it's my different approach to movement and aging that has helped and influenced thousands of women around the world. I've also got specialist certifications in core and pelvic floor corrective exercise, strength training, mindfulness, as well as perimenopause and menopause movement and wellness. And a little bit more about me: I am pain-free, slimmer, and stronger at 54 than I was 10 years ago. I can even swing from the monkey bars at the park, something I couldn't even do as a kid, okay? Talk about aging backwards. Am I special? Like, absolutely not. Do I have a simple and special approach? Heck yes. I also ran my own successful editing company for over 20 years before retraining and switching careers to teach better movement and better aging full time. Now, being a movement coach was never on my radar, but as they say, necessity is the mother of invention. And since no one could help me when I was struggling, I had to search for a solution and retrain in order to help myself. And now I get to share all of this with you, where you get the fast track to feeling fabulous. Because you see, in my early mid-40s, I was struggling with my own figure change, confidence issues, and nagging aches and pains. Even though I exercise regularly and taught yoga part-time, and I've been doing yoga since I was 15, my whole body ached, okay? Hip pain, back pain, foot pain, neck pain, shoulder pain. If it wasn't one thing, it was another. It was like playing whack-a-mole. And I spent hundreds of dollars each month on my health practitioner carousel. You know, that endless series of physical therapy, massage, chiropractics, acupuncture. I tried everything. My therapists were all amazing, okay? And I would feel great for a day or two after the treatment. But a few days later, the aches and pains would be right back. And I was forever on the search for the perfect office chair or the perfect mattress, because, you know, it had to be that, all right? Let me know in the comments if you know what I mean. I think at one point I was buying a new office chair every few months because I was convinced that if I just had the right ergonomic setup, everything would be fine, okay? And the shoes, don't get me started on the shoes and the podiatrist and the orthotics. Nothing helped. And if it did help, it really didn't help for long. And then there was the shape change, okay? I was exercising the same and eating the same, sometimes even exercising more and eating less, but my clothes kept getting tighter and I just couldn't seem to tone up. I was doing walking, swimming, yoga, Pilates, elliptical trainer, treadmill, boot camp. I mean, for the amount of exercise and energy I was putting in, and sweat, okay? And I'm not a fan of sweating or exercise for that matter. I was just not seeing the results. And I was getting increasingly dejected and frustrated and dreading the thought of growing older in this body that was sore and that couldn't keep up with my energetic husband and daughters, all right? And then came the bladder leaking out of nowhere. And that was, as I say, the cherry on top of my midlife misery. It was all a mystery to me because I was trying everything, but nothing was helping. But I refused to believe, as I was being told, that this was just a normal part of aging and that I should suck it up. I refused to believe that this was as good as it gets and that it actually was all downhill from here. I was sure I was missing something, but I had no idea what that was. But I knew that I would recognize it when I saw it. And that's exactly what happened when I came across the world of biomechanics and alignment-based natural whole body movement, because this was the solution I needed that I didn't even know existed. The change in my body shape, my muscle strength and tone, my aches and pains, my bladder leaking, and my weight management was so profound that I had to share this knowledge with others who are struggling too. So I certified as a movement coach and corrective exercise specialist in 2017, closed my editing business, and I've been sharing the love and secrets of better movement and better aging ever since. So the first thing I realized when I started studying biomechanics was that everything my mother and ballet teacher had told me about good posture was completely wrong from a biomechanical perspective. And that it was these very posture cues, which I was still holding on to, thinking that I was doing something good for my body, that were actually making my issues worse. And that is because we need to understand that there is a critical difference between the terms posture and alignment. These two terms are often used interchangeably, but from a biomechanical point of view, they actually mean two very different things. And it's these two things that make all the difference. So let me know in the chat, were you ever told to stand straight, stop slouching? Okay. Did you find yourself fixing your posture with chest back, shoulders up, belly in throughout the day? Jacqueline, were you doing any of these things?
So I put myself on mute so that didn't disturb you. Yes, all of those things. I was always being stand up. And then as I got the chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia, I found it very hard to hold myself up.
Right.
So I still do. I can feel myself sitting here slouching now, and it's kind of like sitting up straight because I was, I'm watching you and thinking, oh, sit up straight.
Well, remember, we got to be careful where that sit up straight is coming from, right?
Exactly.
Where in the body we doing it.
Yeah.
And then good. So those like sit up straight, and in our mind we often think that chest up, shoulders back, belly in. The problem is that these are posture cues, and posture cues, changing your posture, means you're changing the way your body looks. So you've made an improvement. You've gone from slouching and stooped, which we've decided doesn't look good, to being straight, which we've decided does look better. Okay, importantly though, you've probably made this posture change by just rearranging your body parts, by lifting your chest, by pulling your shoulders back, by sucking your tummy in. However, what you've done with your body to achieve this better posture may have actually messed with your alignment, because alignment is the way the body works. And that's what's important. That's what matters. Okay, so in this example, this lady has lifted her chest to make it look like she's straighter, but in order to get better posture, tons of tension have been added through her back. She's shearing her vertebra. She's messed up her breathing mechanics, because now her back ribs can't move because she's got all this tension through her back. And she's basically turned off her core muscles. She's tucking in her tummy. Her core muscles are now being pulled too long, and so they can't actually do any work. All right. And this is a problem. So if your goal is to look and feel great and to age audaciously, we should be aiming for good posture because we have good alignment, not good posture at the expense of good alignment. Okay, and that is the problem for so many of us. So this lady, for example, good posture and good alignment is looking like the skeleton here. This lady has good posture and good alignment. Her ribs aren't lifted, her weight's back in her heels, she's not pinching her shoulder blades together and sucking in her tummy. This lady, bad posture, bad alignment. This lady, good posture, still bad alignment. Okay, stay with me. We're going to explore what some of this means in our bodies a little bit later on. But for now, why is good alignment so important? Okay, Good alignment is important because your body is not an arbitrary arrangement of muscles and bones. Your skeleton works on the basis of a mechanical pulley and lever system. And just like all mechanical systems, the various parts of the system need to be in specific places in order for the system as a whole to work at its best. So when we are out of alignment, some parts become overused, think tight muscles. Some parts become underused, think weak muscles, and other parts start to rub up against each other, causing wear and tear. Okay, think pain, inflammation, osteoarthritis. So just like the wheels of your car need to be properly aligned for optimal performance and to minimize wear and tear, so do the various parts of your body need to be positioned well in order for your body to work at its best. Because you see, when your alignment is optimal or good, your bones, which are the foundational structure of your body, they line up well, or as intended, according to factory specifications. And when your bones line up well, your joints work well, your muscles, which are attached to your bones, can strengthen and do what they are meant to do. And this means that you get better strength and flexibility from your exercise, better weight management, because more muscle means a faster resting metabolism, fewer aches and pains, better shape and tone as you just go about your day. Yeah, it's true. Just walking or standing around become strength building activities. And that is what will give you a better silhouette and help you age audaciously and ache-free. All right. So what then is optimal alignment? From a biomechanical perspective, optimal alignment is what is called anatomical neutral. In other words, the general positioning of your bones should resemble the skeleton in your doctor's office. For most of us, though, by the time we hit our 40s, our normal alignment is nothing like neutral alignment. And this could be the underlying reason, the missing piece, why you are still struggling with nagging aches and pains, why you're battling to get strong and toned, no matter how much you exercise, or why you land up with injuries and setbacks when you do try to exercise or lift weights, which we absolutely should be doing as we age. All right. We do need to be strength training as we age. But before we fix our alignment, if we don't fix our alignment, then it's like playing a game of Jenga. If we don't fix our alignment before we start adding weight in terms of strength training, that extra load to the structure, we'd be adding extra load to a structure that is intrinsically misaligned, things are eventually going to come toppling down. Okay, so let me know in the chat, type yes if this is starting to make sense. So what do we need to do? The first thing we need to do is to understand what the problem really is, and if there's even a problem at all. Okay, who knows, your alignment may be perfect. So we start by measuring our baseline, getting on what I call the objective alignment grid. In other words, we're going to compare your alignment markers, your normal, to the skeleton's alignment markers, which are neutral. And that way you can get a true objective measure and a good understanding of how and where your current or normal alignment compares to optimal rather, or neutral alignment. And we're going to do this in a few minutes, where you will be able to look at and rate 3 of the 5 important alignment points that I cover in my Reshape Method program. But before we do that, you should know that getting on the alignment grid can be quite a revealing exercise. I know I was totally shocked and a bit disappointed when I first scored my alignment. It was shocking because I thought that I'd done all the right things. Okay, I thought I ticked off all the blocks. Even though I was sitting, all the boxes, right? Even though I was sitting at my desk for hours each day, I still exercise regularly. Okay, but of course, the true extent of my misalignment made total sense given all the issues I was having in my body. So just to be clear, this score has nothing to do with how fit or strong or athletic you are. In fact, we have women in the Reshape Method who take part in triathlons, who've been doing Pilates, 3 times a week for 20 years, who still notice big alignment issues when they step onto the objective alignment grid. So please don't think that being out of alignment was bad or wrong. It's just information, but it's crucial information, and perhaps information that you had no idea about until today. And this crucial information is this that is actually key to aging well. And this may be the missing piece that has been stopping you from getting pain-free, from eluding you for so long. You're out of alignment. It's really that simple. Okay, that's the bad news. The good news is that the solution to getting pain-free is just as simple. The solution is to just get back into optimal alignment. Okay, simple, yes. Easy, not so much, because actually changing and fixing our alignment requires specific steps and corrective exercises and lifestyle tweaks. You can't just pull and tug your body to create the change that we are after, okay? And wearing one of those posture devices that you see advertised, or having something on your spine that beeps every time you slouch, it's not going to make a difference either, okay? And these devices are a waste of your money and time, because as I said, all you're doing is there's tension that is holding you out of alignment, and now you're adding tension to improve your posture. Nothing is actually changing from the inside out. What we need is active change, active reshaping from the inside out, and that requires a more subtle and specialized approach, and it also requires you to do the work, which is why this is not really something that your chiropractor or physical therapist or massage therapist can help you with. You see, the reason why you're misaligned is because, as I said, there is tension throughout your body that is pulling you and holding you in your current positions. And this position may feel totally normal and natural to you, because that is all your body knows and experiences, and because your current shape has been molded and set by everything you've done and everything you haven't done with your body up until this point in time. And that's because of one fun fact about the body, which is that the body adapts to the position you are in the most. You see, your body is very clever and is driven by a few overriding programs. And one of them is to conserve energy and to make it very easy and efficient to do things that are done repetitively. And this means that the more we do one particular thing, the more the body will adapt to that and make it really easy and comfortable to do that. And there is one thing that we have been doing with our bodies over and over for years and years, since we were about 6 years old, okay? And I'm going to see if you can guess what that is. Let me know in the chat while I have a sip of water. What position have we been in the most since we were about 6 years old? The position that we've been in the most, I can't see the chat, so maybe
it's really delayed, but I've got sitting.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's sitting, but it's even more specific than that. Great answer. It is chair sitting. It's chair sitting. Other societies and cultures sit as much as Westerners do, but the difference is every time we sit since about 6 years old, we are chair sitting, okay? And chair sitting puts our geometry at 90 degrees at the hips, 90 degrees at the knees, over and over and over for years and years and years. And the problem with this adaptation is that when we get up out of our chair to walk around, we are not lining up like the skeleton over here in anatomical neutral. The problem with all this chair sitting and adaptation is that some areas have become sticky, some areas have become too mobile, some muscles have become too short and tight, some muscles have become too long. And so this has changed the normal natural positioning and alignment of the body, okay? And what we also then do is that we make these posture changes so that we can get our eyes level to the ground, so that you can walk around and be, you know, the fabulous contributing member to society that you are. But we don't realize, because we've been stuck in these chair sitting positions, when we come out of the chair, we're still stuck in a chair sitting position, but we're making all these tweaks with our pelvis, with our feet, with the position of our knees, our rib cage, our head, all these things so that we can move around in the world. We're making all these adjustments to our alignment, okay? And the point is, while you look straight from a posture perspective, you're still moving around in the world, okay? From a how your body works perspective, things have shifted and you are misaligned, and there is a consequence to that, all right? So let me know in the chat also if you think you're aligned, if you think you're a bit of a spoon or a leaning tower or a bridge. I was a bridge for sure. I had this untucked pelvis and these lifted ribs, okay? We're making these posture adjustments in order to move around, okay? So all this to say that before you move more, which we all need, you first need to spend some time getting your body to align better and to move well. But you can't even begin to work on moving well if you're out of alignment, all right? Are you out of alignment? This is the question, all right? And we are going to be taking a look in a minute. But first, I want to share with you some real life examples from my Reshape Method members, what it means to be out of alignment and the kind of changes that are possible when we spend some time on an alignment-focused approach to getting in shape and ache-free, all right? So these are Pauline's alignment before and after pictures. What we're going to be looking at today is this positioning of the leg, how most of us have this diagonal leg, and how what we're really working on is becoming more vertical. Also, this lifting through the rib cage, we're going to be looking at that as well. Here is Mary. She was for sure like a spoon shape. Look how much straighter she is after 12 weeks in the Reshape method. These are Veronica's before and after pictures. Veronica's actually a pediatrician in the UK. Again, note the diagonal position of her leg and how it became more vertical. Note the positioning of her feet as well. And note the positioning of her rib cage, how it went from angling up to becoming more horizontal to the ground, sorry. And these are Debbie's before and after pictures, okay? This is something that we really spend a lot of time working on in the Reshape method. Debbie is strong over here, right? You wouldn't say there's anything wrong with her core over here, but she had neck pain, she had back pain. And that's because when we're out of alignment, it is very hard to find our deepest core muscle, which is the transverse abdominis. And that is what we should be, which is what should be doing all the work. But when we're out of alignment and not breathing properly, we don't have balance through all 3 layers of abdominal muscles. And this is Debbie 9 weeks into the Reshape method. There's her belly button over there. I mean, when she sent me this picture, the evenness through all levels of her abs was so amazing. I thought this was her back. Jacqueline, can I pull up your before and after pictures?
Yeah, I can share my. Have you got them there, or I can share them? Share my screen.
Okay, you share your screen, and then have you got the copy of the marked up ones?
Yeah, it's right here.
All right. Okay, so you tell everybody what's going on. Awesome.
Okay, so can you see that? Okay.
Yes.
Right. So this was when I started the program. So I mean, I wasn't as bad as I thought I was, but I was still quite bad. So you can see here that at the beginning of the program, I had the bridge. I was leaning forward, and my bum was sticking out a bit. By the end of the 12 weeks, I had literally straightened up. You can see where how different I am with the straightening there. Beginning of the program, I wasn't standing, standing right. I wasn't hip width apart. My feet were too close together. You can see I'm kind of standing on the wonk a little bit. My chin's out of alignment. I just want to say here, actually, in terms of everybody's here, the physio, the group, this alignment is so important for your face. Because if your body is out of alignment, so is your face.
Right.
So that's one of the things why I bang on about alignment and posture all the time, because there's no point in working out your face if your posture isn't right, because you're still going to be pulling it off wrong.
Absolutely. And it starts from your feet, right?
All the way up.
You need to be starting from the feet up to get that kind of deep change that you want, because these fascial chains move up and down. So it's very tempting to go to one area of the body and to try and spot treat that first. But we need a whole body approach, right?
Absolutely. And then you can see by the end of the 12 weeks, I now stand like this. My hips are in alignment, hip width apart.
And what's important about that incredible change in the hip distance apart, is that now these power muscles through your butts, what's called your lateral hip muscles, now your brain can find them to move you.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the back posture, I think that just explains itself.
Yeah.
I was tipped to one side, most definitely. I was kind of putting all my weight on one side of my body, so my shoulders were out of alignment. You can see that my feet were a little bit what I call duck shaped. They were pointing outwards. But my posture at the end of the 12 weeks, I was much straighter than I ever imagined that I would get.
Yeah.
And that was literally just in 12 weeks. And I hadn't actually done all 3 areas of the exercise program at that point. I was still only sort of, because there's 3 phases, and I'd still only got to phase 2 at this point.
Yes.
So there was still phase 3 to go through. So at the end of the 12 weeks to have that, and I still hadn't gone through the whole program completely, was just amazing.
You are the poster child, quite literally.
Let me stop
the alignment change, and then the change that it like the consequence of that, right? Which is what we were talking about at the beginning. On the one hand, there's being able to look and see the difference, but it's now, what did that change of alignment specifically mean to how you look and feel and age, right? That is where it's at. So maybe you can talk a little bit about that. Like, what do you feel is working that wasn't working before?
Well, certainly the fact that I can pretty much stand all day now without having to take moments to get my chair out and sit down.
Right.
You know,
and that's about leg strength, butt strength, but being able to help to hold you up. Yeah.
Very, 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 very rarely use my chair now.
Yes.
I stand most of the day. Walking is so much easier. Because I don't get back pain, because obviously when you're walking with that bridge, your pelvis is out of alignment. So as you're walking along, you're putting all that pain on to...
Right, yeah. We're using our backs to walk us, right? Because most people, if you're too untucked, the bridge is an untucked pelvis. You know, the other two is a too tucked pelvis. In both, and then our leg is, most of us, the legs are diagonal. We'll measure that in a minute, right? With all these things, it means the right muscles can't move you. So your back and your knees land up doing a lot of the work to move you. And that's where most people's back pain is coming from. So that was awesome.
Exactly. And I also, the other difference is the straightness in my shoulders now. And I don't get the tension and pain in the back of my neck, which I've had for years because of slouching. Right. I now get that, and I can actually see the difference that that's made in my face yoga practice and the alignment in my face.
Yeah, because that slouching, right? Let's just talk about that slouching for a minute. In fact, let me just share. I'm going to give you the link. Is it here? To my alignment guide. I'll put it in the chat, and
then I'll share that into Facebook.
Yeah, and I'm going to go over some of these alignment points. This is my alignment guide, okay? And let's go over some of these alignment points so that you can see what I mean. Let's first talk about the rib cage, okay? So what we tend to do with the rib cage, we don't realize it, is that we do tend to give a little bit of a lift through the rib cage, because we think, oh, we're slouching, this doesn't look good, okay? So the easiest thing to do to come out of the slouch is to lift the rib cage. Okay, now I'm not slouched. Now here, because slouching is head too far forward, shoulders too far forward, most of us add some kind of lift. Sometimes it's very obvious to see on yourself, sometimes not so obvious, which is why I'm offering everyone in your group a free alignment assessment with me, so that I can show you what these points are. Because our rib cage is meant to be completely horizontal to the ground, okay, with our shoulders back where they belong and the head where it belongs. But most of us have this rounded shouldered forward head posture because we've been doing this since we were 6 years old, right? And we do so much of it. So to come out of it, to stop slouching, we add tension through the spine and lift. Now, first of all, you've interfered with your breathing mechanisms, because now your rib cage is being thrust forward, okay? That then interferes with your pelvic floor. That then interferes with your core. Although you now have this slender line through your body because you've lifted the ribs, what you've actually done is turned off your deep core muscles. You've actually interfered with your core. And it's these deep core muscles, when your ribs are where they belong and your pelvis is where it belongs, that is what should actually be working to give you the natural lift through your body, that natural lift, right? Which is what we are after. Okay, so alignment point number one is this positioning of the rib cage. And what you can do is you can take a pen, put a pen on your, let me see if I've got one with a brighter color. Can you see the green? Yeah, we'll have to go with this. If you put a pen on your chest, you're like, what is the angle? What is the angle that the bottom of the pen is drawing when you stand up? Is it going down as a diagonal? That means you have lift. That means you have that you're adding tension through your vertebra to make it look like you've got good alignment, but you're interfering with the mechanics of your body. Because your sternum, if you relax, you're not pulling the rib cage in with the abdominals, you're letting the rib cage just round at the back, move into your flesh until that sternum is vertical, until that pen drops down to the ground. That is where your rib cage belongs. And for many of us, when we allow our rib cage to relax to where it belongs, really shows how rounded we are through the shoulders and how much forward head we have, okay? Which is fine. What we do, that's called hyperkyphosis. We're meant to have a rounding through the upper back. Most of us have too much kyphosis, called hyperkyphosis. So we hide it by lifting the rib cage, which then creates a whole lot of other issues because it's interfering with all these vital movements of your body. Breath and walking. Breath is a movement, okay? There are lots of small movements going on when we breathe that are crucial for the body to work properly. And of course, walking, okay? So this is alignment point number one that we want to look at, because we can't change what we don't acknowledge, right? If we're hiding our kyphosis by lifting the rib cage, we're not acknowledging that there's actually this deep issue happening with your upper body and your head, and that's an issue that needs to be resolved in and of itself. You're not fixing the upper body problem by lifting the rib cage. You're just creating a new problem, okay? So that's the first alignment point. That's what we want to do. We want to get onto the alignment grid and look at that. The next one we want to look at is the vertical leg. And I'll just go through these two because we are running late on time. And other people can download the alignment guide and have a look. And then, of course, feel free to book a complimentary assessment to me that I'm happy to give to all the members of Jackie's fantastic club. Okay.
Yeah, can I just say, yes, it was the alignment guide that kind of really triggered me into thinking I needed to have a chat with you.
Really? Tell me about that.
Yeah, it was just we did the conference thing together, didn't we?
Yes.
And it was kind of I sort of did that afterwards, and then we had a chat, and it was kind of, yeah, this is something I really need to do. So
right. Yeah, because the thing is that we're going through our lives, right? And we don't even know what the actual problem is. And no one is telling us, no one is educating us. There's so much focus on our biochemistry, on our nutrition, on hormones, on tablets, on things we eat, on things we take. But when it comes to the biomechanics of the body, for some reason, just overlooked, just completely overlooked, like it doesn't matter. And we are subject to the laws of gravity 24/7, okay? And gravity is always going to win. You can argue as much as you like. Gravity will win, okay? And this vertical leg alignment point that I want to show you is like gravity is playing a big part in terms of that, because your leg is meant to be 90 degrees to the ground, fully 90 degrees to the ground. Let me just take my standing stool away here. Your leg is meant to be 90 degrees to the ground. So, I mean, do I look normal? As somebody who hasn't gone through the program.
I think so. You look like you're slightly leaning forward.
Yeah, because now you know what to look for. But most people, before they know what to look for, and I say, and sorry, everybody, I'm ruining your lives forever, because now you'll never be able to unsee what I'm about to show you, just like Jackie can't unsee it. Most people are sitting like this, right? And when they come for their first private session in the reshape method, I'm going through this with them in detail, like, do I look normal? Everyone says yes. Everyone says yes, because this is what we all look like. We all look like this, so we all look normal. The fact of the matter is that I am diagonal. My leg is diagonal to the ground. That is 90 degrees. That is not 90 degrees. And although it's not stark, I mean, when I started, I was probably up here, okay? And it has improved significantly. Even like millimeters and centimeters matter when it comes to mechanics, right? Everybody knows that. Like, things either need to be 90 degrees, or if they're not, then there's a consequence. Let me show you again. This is 90 degrees. This is diagonal, and most of us are sitting diagonal. What that means when we diagonal, okay, is that our quads are holding us up, our hip flexors are holding us up. The weight of, so that means we tend to have overuse issues through the hip flexors, the front of the hip, the quads, the knees. When your quads are on all the time holding you up, there's a direct correlation between knee issues and knee osteoarthritis. My weight is being held over the small bones of my feet. That's the reason why so many people have the cause of the foot issues, because your weight belongs here at 90 degrees. And when your leg is naturally at 90 degrees, and you can't force it back, okay? These alignment points that I'm showing you, they're not the fix. We don't want to be forcing the opposite of the problem. That is not the fix. There's tension, there's fascial tension holding you out of alignment. Adding tension to pull yourself out of alignment is not the fix. The fix is to do the corrective exercise, the movement coaching work on the mat that puts it all just naturally together, so that you're naturally falling into better alignment, naturally moving the way the body's meant to move. Because when you're able to find, when you were able to get closer to a 90-degree leg, now the butt, which is supposed to hold you up, the butt, which is supposed to initiate the gait cycle, is now available, okay? It also, in terms of osteoporosis, many people get osteoporosis on the head of the femur. And a big reason for that is because when our alignment has us diagonal, it means that that gravitational force on the head of the femur all day long is not enough. You to the head of the femur, you weigh less when your alignment is like that than like that. Okay, and what's more important in terms of osteoporosis is the continuous weight messages that the osteoblasts, that the little cells in the bone are getting all day long. Not the half an hour that you're doing at the gym with the weights. That is not really the solution. The solution is, what is the constant reading of weight that those bones are getting all day long. And over here, to the head of the femur, you weigh significantly less than you do when you're here, okay? So that's a really, really interesting point. So also really hard to measure this vertical leg on yourself, because when you turn to look, you've now changed your alignment. So please go ahead and book a complimentary assessment with me. Let me give you that link as well.
And then I'll pop that straight into the group as well.
One sec.
Thank you so much for the opportunity for everybody to do that.
I'm going to, let me just pull up a link over here. There was an old link in my notes here that's no longer working. Just give me 1 minute. Okay, so that is it for today. While I'm looking at that link, does anybody have any questions?
I don't think there's been any. But to be perfectly honest, because of the way this all goes now, I can't actually see who's watching and who's not. It doesn't come up with who's watching me live. So I know that it says 26 plays. So I'm presuming that we've had sort of 26 views on it. So I'll give it a couple of seconds to see if any questions comes through.
I can have
I do know that an awful lot of my group watch things back on replay. So
right.
So we will definitely get some people to watch this on replay, and I'll post it out on my
amazing. And I'm happy to come into the group and answer any questions that people have. And so here is the link. Let me put it in the chat to the complimentary alignment audit. Okay, alignment assessment. So we can have a look, because you know you can't change what you don't acknowledge. And so being able to actually see that gap, there's a gap that exists between how you are just normally feeling now in your body and anatomical neutral, which is the ideal starting positioning of the bones, right? Even knowing what the problem is half of the solution. Because there's nothing worse than trying all these things. I know, and this is what makes me so, just so sad for women at our age and stages. I see so many women trying, they're doing all the stuff, they're doing the exercise, they're doing the appointments, and they're just getting nowhere fast. And we need to stop that.
I was going to say, what's really interesting is obviously I've gone through the program and I'm hearing this today, but I can remember when I first started the program, I was doing all the things that you said. I was trying too hard to stand straight, and I was doing all the things to try and correct myself. And you kept saying to me, Jackie, no, just do the exercises. And I my two favorite things to do are the soleus stretch and the iliacus stretch. And if I can't do anything else in a day, I do those two things. And it was basically once I got out of my head and actually started getting into my body, the reshape program just really works. But you have to get out of your head and keep thinking, I'm standing wrong. Just trust that if you do all the things, you're going to be standing right very quickly.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming to join us in the program, and thank you for having me come chat in the group.
Thank you so much. You've been somebody I've wanted inside the group for quite some time, because you had your program and you have helped me so much, and it kind of and when we met, we knew that what I did and what you did had such synchronicity with each other.
Yes.
And it's just wonderful to have you in my world, and thank you so much for sharing this with everybody today. So I'm going to switch off the streams, but I'll carry on chatting to you just for a minute. Let me just switch those off. Thank you for everybody being on Facebook and YouTube. We'll end that. I'll come back to Zoom and we'll stop that. And I'll stop the record.